guys. Yep. Welcome to the Ping Pong Show. Slightly different episode. So we're doing a next generation series, and basically just to promote some of the up and coming youngsters in England, and let's see who they are, where they're training, what they're doing, goals and ambitions, and a lot more. So let's get into it.
Welcome to the show, guys. Obviously, as current table tennis players, we just want to make sure we're not sort of getting you in any sort of hot water with the association. So there's a couple of things that we'd really like you to steer clear of. We're not really going to talk about other people, so we're only interested in finding out about you and your own personal journey. We're also not interested in, I think it's right not to be talking selections. Current players shouldn't really be talking selections. That's up to the selectors and the coaches. So we can avoid those situations. And we're just looking for you really just to be, give us the best advert for you and educate some of us in terms of what you are doing in the game and what your aims and ambitions are, as Ashley rightly said.
Okay.
Ashley?
Yeah, cool. So I'll randomly pick on Joe. Go on, give us a couple minutes maximum. Just introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Joe Cope. I'm at the minute joined #1 junior in England with Ethan. I live full-time in Denmark. I've been playing full-time for 2 years. I lived in Sherpen last year and then moved to Denmark this year and playing in the highest division. And next year I will also stay here. And I've represented England on the international circuit a couple of times as a junior and a cadet, and won a bronze medal at under-21s this year.
Hi, I'm Sam Wilson. I'm training full-time at Eslov at the moment. I moved here in October. Really enjoying it. Really just enjoying life of being a professional table tennis player. Working towards my long-term goals. Accompanied Joe playing for the junior team quite a few times on like the junior international circuit, and I'm playing in top division Denmark next season and Division 1 France. So I'm really looking forward to those.
Hi, I'm Ethan Walsh. I'm 18 years old. I'm currently #1 in England, joint with Joe. I won nationals and national, and play a bit of ping pong as well, which Ashley knows of. And I won 5 national titles for singles, and then I've won a few doubles as well.
All right. So that leads me nicely onto the first question. But before I answer the first question, you're all roughly the same age, and you're all obviously quite highly ranked in England. I just wanted to know how well do you guys know each other, and how often do you guys speak to each other? I don't know, Joe, go on, you answer that for us.
I mean, I spent a lot of my life living with Ethan, whether it was on England camps or abroad. I mean, I would say Ethan's one of my best mates. And then Sam came on at the scene a little bit later in his years, so I only really spent a year with him, but I'd say we're pretty close. We've all been through a lot together. We've all been through ups and downs, and I'd say we're more like a family than friends. We respect each other, what we do on the table, and we're always there for each other.
But so Ethan, what's it like? So you obviously know these guys well. One of them's living in Denmark, one's in Sweden, and you're obviously in England. What's that like? When you guys get to practice with each other, or do you plan to, or anything?
Basically when they come up to England, we used to at the England camps just get to practice with each other, and then when we went to international competitions, now we don't really get many opportunities to train with each other. They're training abroad. But like Joe said, with me and Joe have been in the same age group our whole lives, and we've just been 1 and 2 all the time. So we know each other and know each other's games so well. So, yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'll get into my first question now. The question is, who has had the greatest influence on your career so far? That could be a coach, it could be a parent, it could be a friend. And Sam, if you can answer that one first.
Yeah, I'd say for sure my dad, because he played table tennis professionally when he was younger, so he obviously got me into the sport when I was very, very young. And I think he's been really big influence from when I was very young until even now. I still talk to him most days about my table tennis and just overall stuff like that. And he's really inspired. So yeah, I'd say for sure he's my main.
Yeah, mine similar would be my parents, because obviously they're taking me to all the tournaments all around the country and then paying for England camp, international competition. And yeah, my dad always loves to practice with me, so that even if I don't want to go somewhere, they'll always try and like make sure I'm getting the best out of whatever I do. And yeah, they've just helped me so much, so it has to be them, 100%.
I think I've got to agree. I mean, my stepdad, mum and brother have always been there for me. It's a big support system, and that does help a lot when you move abroad. But I think I've got to also give a lot of respect to Carol Moore. She was my coach from when I was very young, and she guided me down the right paths and created a lot of great players. So I would have to give it to both of them 50-50.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and just coming back to Sam and Ethan, actually, what about coach-wise? I mean, it still might be your parents.
Yeah.
I know they both played quite a good level, but coach-wise, who would you say had the biggest influence on you guys?
For me, obviously, he's part of the family now, but Adam Nutland, as soon as he came into the family, he would be practicing me all the time and coaching me. So for him, for sure, because he goes to all the tournaments as well with me. And yeah, we sort of brought each other's levels. We made each other better by practicing with each other as well. So yeah, him.
Yeah, for sure. With me, Chris Doran was a really, really big help to me. My brother was also coaching me and giving me multi-ball and kind of on the side kind of thing. But I'd say Chris Doran was the main kind of mentor, if you like. I was having 2-3 sessions with him a week for the best part of kind of 2 years. So I'd say, yeah, I think he's made the biggest difference in my game. And I've got the opportunity to play in France next season to play in the same team as him, which I think will be really good for me because he can be physically there and watching my game and see how I develop.
Okay, cool. Yeah, try and get a better average than he does. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Yeah. Sorry. Go on, Jay.
I know, just to say, I actually know most of these guys' family and coaches quite well. Obviously, Joe's from a very famous table tennis club, Ormsby. Carol has been an England coach most of my junior career, as well as mostly through his. Ormsby is a really good club that has produced quite a few young table tennis players, and was definitely involved in producing Paul Drinkle. So it's a really good pedigree, a really good club, which is going to lead to the question I'm going to ask in a minute. Ethan, I know his father very well. Played table tennis with Jimmy many times. Well-respected table tennis player. Was the Grand Prix king at one point, going to every Grand Prix and often winning events. So it's been really a joy to watch Ethan grow up and play table tennis, and I know just how much Jimmy's put into it. So it's good to see that. And then likewise with Sam, I'm from Middlesex. Sam's dad's from Middlesex, Colin Wilson. Inspired me quite a lot when I was a young table tennis player growing up. So these guys all have quite good support networks within table tennis. And one of the questions I was going to ask was, actually, I think there's much more to becoming good at table tennis than having parents involved or coaches involved. But you need someone to really champion you and someone to really look after your interests. And it was interesting listening there to Ethan talking about Adam as maybe someone that's helped him a little bit. And just the question really is, who is your champion? Who is the person that is going to best support you with Team England, with possible international trips, if you have one? I'll ask that question first and foremost to Sam.
I think for me, I wouldn't necessarily have just one set person. I think I'm lucky enough and fortunate enough to have Chris Doran and my brother and my dad, all three of them, I think are equally helpful to me and equally push me forward. I speak to all of them on a weekly basis. So I think for me, there isn't a specific person always pushing me forwards. But I think it's, that kind of job is done by those three combined.
Maybe I haven't made the question quite clear. What I mean by a champion is not necessarily just about coaching you. I'm talking about someone who has your interests, who's going to be talking to Team England for you, who do Team England feed back to about where they see your progress and what they see coming from you.
I would probably say my dad.
Thank you.
I speak a lot now. I'm kind of out of the juniors. When I do speak to the English kind of coaches, I do most of the time message them myself, and we speak one-to-one. But I think my dad is a big help, kind of behind the scenes there for sure.
I think for me right now, it'd probably be Gavin. I did a lot of work with Gavin at the beginning of the year before he became England coach. He was a one-to-one coach with me, and I worked with him quite closely. So I probably would say it's Gav, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, similar to Sam. I think I think it'd be my parents, because obviously we've been with Table Tennis England for so long, like with all the age groups literally, and then. But yeah, it's always been my parents that would be going to make sure to see how I was progressing. So yeah, definitely my parents.
That's good. He also, Jimmy was also telling us about the physical training you must have been doing, because he says you're throwing off the weight at the moment and in good fight.
Yeah, running loads. I've lost about maybe 1.5 stone so far, but yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Well done. Good. That was my question. Thank you. Ashley, back to you.
Before I go on to my second question, a lot of you said about the contact with Table Tennis England. I just wanted to know how much contact you guys have with them. So in any order, just a quick one.
Yeah, I'll go first. I don't have so much contact with Team England at the moment. I think as I wasn't in the junior team for so long. As Joe said, I came up a bit later. I was in the junior team for maybe a year and a half or something like that. And now I've left the juniors. So I don't have so much contact, but my main point of contact is Marcus Gustafsson. And he's very good at looking after me and messaging about tournaments and stuff like that. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's not like a daily contact thing. But I think as I've kind of fallen away from the junior scene a little bit, that's gone down, understandably. But yeah, I think Marcus is still really good at supporting me and contacting me.
Okay, yeah, that's good to hear. Good to hear. Joe, I'd imagine yours is Gavin, but I don't want to put words into your mouth. But go on, Joe.
I mean, I don't really have much contact. I mean, if I need help, I will drop Gav a text every now and then. But right now, I just work mainly with my club coach, and he's doing a lot of the work with me. I don't really speak to England that much, and I haven't since I moved abroad, really, because I don't see them that often, and now I have club coaches, so it's not very rare that we do talk.
Yeah, a few years ago it was probably a bit, but now same as Joe, really, like not at all, really. I don't have any contact at the moment with them. Maybe I will. I should more, but yeah, this season I've had literally nothing, no contact.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so to move on to my question, I might come back and ask another one in response to some of those answers. But yeah, my next question is just your guys' aims and ambitions within the sport.
Yeah, I think since I've moved abroad in the past 7-8 months, whatever it's been, my goal before, I think, was kind of like I had a specific goal, I'd get to the Olympics, world, it was. But I think recently, having seen just how many really, really good players there are, I'd say my long-term goal now is world top 100. I think I was a bit naive on the international scene, not realizing kind of just how many really, really good players there are out there. So I'd say I'd really like to play the Olympics as well, but I'd say my main goal is world top 100, and of course, playing the English senior team.
Yeah, Jay, jump in if you've got anything to say, because obviously Jason's played at that level and I haven't. So, Joe and Ethan.
I mean, I've always done goals as seasons. I've always been taught to do it that way, and you get a better outcome if you focus on one thing a year. And I think for me this season, it's that big step into the senior game, because now I've come out of junior. I want to shorten the gap between Tom and Sam from the next person in line. I want to put like that conversation in England's mind. Okay, do we send him abroad now? Is he ready for the senior big tournaments? I want to try and put that in their mind this year.
Yeah, mine. To be fair, mine's quite similar to Joe as well. I don't have like overall specific goals really. I just take it season by season and try and work on that really. But yeah, I don't have overall. Obviously, I'd love to play for the men's teams, and I need to start playing more international tournaments. But for right now, I'm just taking it season by season and trying and improve in each year and getting better results. So yeah, and hopefully one time England will maybe notice I've done something better and then really think about like if they want to take me to these big tournaments. So yeah.
What maybe just a general one, you don't even have to answer this, and maybe Jason can word it better, but you guys kind of feel going from juniors to seniors, do you feel like you're starting over again, or do you feel like you're there or thereabouts and it's a small step, or is it such a huge gap?
I mean, for me personally, I work with Oscar Perman here. He was a Swedish junior international and very big in the Eslov scene. And we spoke a lot about this today, actually. And for me, there's not a big gap because right now I'm still under 21. So for me, next year, it's going to be focusing on under 21s and pushing to get into that Europeans as well. But also, of course, going into men's is a big jump. I feel England kind of missed that a little. And an under 21 squad would actually be a really good idea for the likes of the players that are living abroad and that are out there trying to make a name after becoming a junior, because that's when a lot of England players stop from 18 to 21. So for me, okay, it is a big jump, but right now, I'm still under 21.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, to be honest. You three are a perfect example. I mean, that's a nice little squad there. Obviously, Sweden and Denmark are taking advantage of it, but it'll be great to get you guys representing England even at a different age group, I suppose, your own age group or a year above or whatever. Don't know if Jason wants to come with anything before his next question.
Just a mini question, probably more for Ethan on his own. How do you feel about the two boys being away while you're at home? How does that make you feel?
Yeah, obviously it just means every time I go on the table, I'm just thinking I have to train extra hard because I know they're doing it a lot more and I'm not always going to get the time to train as much as them. So I don't, to be honest, I don't really think about that either. I just think about like, what I'm doing myself. I don't really take notice on what other people are doing. I know like a lot of people do, and even my parents do. They're always saying about other people, but for me, I just focus on myself and knowing how much I'm improving. If you know what I mean.
Great answer. Yeah. Which probably leads me to the next question. So we've spoke a little bit about where you are and what you guys are doing right now. We spoke about your wider support network in terms of who your champions are. We've got some of your aims and ambitions. What do you think you guys need to go to that next level? And what I mean by that is whatever you're doing right now, what else do you think will make the difference to narrow that gap between you and the England men's team now? Yeah, Sam, go on, you work away.
Yeah, I'd completely agree with Joe on this one, which is I think an under-21 squad would be really, really helpful, because I think this gap of being out of the juniors and then trying to chase the Tom Jarvises, the David Macbeths, the Sam Walkers, I think that's a really tough thing to do, and it can take a number of years. So I think an under-21 squad would really help kind of shorten that time, because we'd get the international experience and would be kind of as a team and getting ready for the next stage.
Yeah, it's similar, to be fair. I think under-21 squad would be really good. And then just getting that experience of maybe like practicing with some of the top guys as well, because a lot of the time we don't really ever see them. I mean, we see them, some camps that we've seen like Paul and Lee train, but they're just training together. It's never really like interacting with any of us. But if there was obviously an under-21 squad, then they wouldn't be getting like loads out of it, but they'd still be getting like a decent knock as well. So I think just getting that experience of playing with people at that level regularly.
Good answer. Very good answer. Joe?
Yeah, I think I got to agree with Ethan. It's the exposure to that high quality all the time, and I think the under-21 squad could help with that because, okay, you go play under-21 opens, but I think to really bridge that gap, it's do what Tom did, get yourself out there, play these men's tournaments, push yourself, and provide results. I mean, I remember Tom's first big result in Sweden, that was Gao Ning, and that's when everyone was like, okay, he's ready, he's in the team now, he's going to be up there now. And I think that's what we've got to do. We've got to put ourselves out there in the senior events and challenge these big players and make a name for ourselves.
Thank you. Really good answers. All three of those are really good answers. Probably, I'm just going to bolt on a question. We obviously play in the Masters as juniors. Masters for the seniors, would that make a difference, do you think, in terms of improving table tennis for the 18 to 21-year-old?
I think the thing is, if you're going to play a senior top 10, is it actually going to be the top 10?
Yeah.
And I think that is the big problem with it right now, is it guaranteed that the big boys are going to play? I mean, okay, you might get David McBeth playing.
When you play for England, you have a criteria you have to meet, right?
Yeah.
England Junior, you have to play the Masters and you have to play the national championships, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what it is.
I'm pretty sure it is. It's been like that for God knows how long. I mean, I don't think that's too much more of everyone's. Obviously, we've got some incredible table tennis players and they're brilliant. The Liams, the Pauls, the Sams, they're really, really good. But like you said, it's not only just the practice and it's the exposure to better matches. And when you get that more consistently, then you know what you have to do to train properly and correctly. So for me, the competition is a real important part of you guys' development. And actually, that would be the one worry that I would probably have for Ethan out of the three of you, is that can you get enough match exposure, because you guys are in the hall with different people every day. And there's a really good documentary before the last Olympics. I think it was Per Gorel was talking about practicing in the hall with all the European table tennis players. And he just says it's so different the way everyone feels the ball and touches the ball and the level of spin and the different styles and the different games. So that's an incredibly important thing. But I suppose, yeah, just do you get enough tournaments in England of high enough quality to help you develop the way you want to develop? Probably just a very direct question.
I mean, the highest level you're probably going to get is the nationals. So if you take away the nationals, I mean, you've got your Chris Duran, your Gavin Rungay playing the Grand Prix, and that's probably the highest level you're going to get if the Chinese player isn't there.
A lot of the times it's we're going there and we're one of the top seeds, which I don't really be happening as well, even in senior tournaments. I think the national qualifiers even, we're just expected to always win or thereabouts. So I think, a lot of the times that just shows that the level obviously isn't good enough at a lot of tournaments.
I mean, all the way up to the quarterfinals, it's probably all juniors, apart from the two top seeds. I mean, I know Ethan plays a lot and he gets quite far in the seniors, and then Sam played Cardiff, did quite well. But a lot of the time you look at the draw and pretty much 80% of it is juniors. Yeah. So we're playing pretty much a 4-star. You play your group.
Why do you think that is?
I think there is a drop-off in England from the big, let's say Danny Lawrence, for example. He was a big player as a junior, but what is he doing now, you know? He's not putting, you have your Lee McTeamney, Gabriel, and we need more of those caliber players where, okay, they're probably not next to Sam and Pitch and that, but they're still challenging us. And then we realise, okay, now we need to step up a gear to get past them, and then to get past them.
Yeah, because it's not even just the 6 to 10 players in England don't play them either, really. You get Duran playing a few Grand Prix at most, but there's not all of them. So still, we don't, there's not enough, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, that probably poses the next question. I mean, Sam and Joe, when you're away training, do the players from those home nations compete in their competitions?
As far as Sweden goes, I believe so. I think all of the top Swedish national men's players play. I mean, I've seen a number of them at their local tournaments. Of course, they all play nationals. But I think, in general, I'd say more top Swedish men play their circuit than in England.
Joe?
Yeah. I mean, the same in Denmark. The first tournament I played, I came up against Jai, the Chinese from Denmark. I mean, he plays everyone pretty much, but you've got to look at, there's more money there for them to go and play. It's worth it. It's worth for them to play. While in England, is it worth for the big guys to play our Grand Prix? If we're getting to the quarterfinals and stuff, is there enough money there for them to come and play it?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think yeah, we can say we want them to play in everything, but I think for example, Pitchford or Paul or someone like this, I don't think they'd benefit from. Most of them live abroad, or at least they used to. I'm not sure what their situation with Nottingham is right now, but I agree with Joe. There's not so much point with them coming to play it, I think, for them.
I wasn't surprised. Maybe I was. I'm surprised none of you said in your like goals and ambitions, but maybe you're giving really political answers. None of you said you wanted to be professional. I mean, Sam said he wants to be top 100 in the world, which is professional. And you pretty much both of you, all three of you, live in a professional life. Yeah. So, do you want to be a professional table tennis player? And Ethan, do you feel? Because a lot of people say if you don't go abroad, then it's deemed as if you're not like taking it seriously and you're not being professional.
Yeah. No, yeah, obviously I thought about it a lot, but I just thinking like a lot of people that do go abroad have like a backup, as in like they have, example, Tom Jarvis, if he hadn't have made it, his parents and that are still really rich anyway, so he's got like stuff to back him up. Whereas if I did and then I didn't make any money and came back, I wouldn't have a certain thing I could just go and do. So it was sort of the choice, like, it's massive. Do I go and risk like everything for that? And at the time, I don't think I was ready to either. So
yeah, well, I know Andrew Bagley. I don't know if he probably did go and live abroad, but I know he doesn't now, and he goes and does training camps. But he's very strict with his training, so he'll do periods of training. So it'll be like 6 weeks where he won't see anyone. But he'll just go and live out in Poland. I think he likes to train. He's got his like good network around there. So that's something you might want to speak to. Something you might want to think, doing like camps and really like focusing your training up to tournaments. And then you've got obviously the comforts of coming back home and being around your family and stuff as well. So
yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
For me, technically now I am a professional. I'm getting paid to play in a league. I'm living there full time. I mean, last year I would class myself as semi-pro when I lived in Sweden because I was paying to be there. I was paying to practice. I was not getting paid for league, so it was kind of not a job then because I wasn't getting paid. While for me now, it's my job. I wake up in the morning, I go train, I eat, I sleep, I go train again at night. It's a job for me now.
Yeah, I mean, I put myself pretty much exactly in the same situation as Joe. I'd say kind of first half of the season, because I came a bit late in October. So for the first half, I wasn't really getting paid anything. The second half, a little bit, but not so much. But next year, I'm going to be, getting paid to play. So I guess you could consider this professional. I don't think it's quite enough to live completely on my own without any financial support from my parents or sponsors or anything like that. But yeah, I guess it's a full-time job at the moment. So, and I'd really like it to stay that way, really enjoying life out here. So I would want to continue to be a professional in the future.
That's class. Yeah, and that's why I wanted to do this, actually. That's why the idea came to, I said to Jason, and I think Jason said to me as well, let's get some of the youngsters on there, because in Pitch and Paul's podcast, I don't know if you've seen that, and they were kind of struggling to name a few of the other guys, a few of the youngsters coming up, and nothing towards them. I just thought, yeah, you know what, let's promote these guys, because we've got 2 professionals on here right now who are living and training abroad. Ethan, would you regard yourself as professional as well? Possibly. Semi-professional, professional?
Yeah, maybe. Not like these guys, I don't think. But yeah, the way I train and my lifestyle, I guess you could say maybe semi-professional.
Okay, yeah, cool, exactly. So we've got like professional, semi-professional players in the country. I just think, yeah, they needed a platform to just boost them up a little bit.
And Sam, regarding them not knowing us, I think I think that is a bit infactual. I just think they don't know that we out here abroad. You know,
Yeah.
they are.
Yeah, I
like,
didn't mean they don't know us. I mean, like, they don't know kind of what we're doing every day.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like we don't know what they're doing. You know, we're not best mates at the end of the day.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know?
Or I don't know where they're training, if they're in Nottingham or whatever. So
I suppose more important question would be, you'd hope the coaches and the guys who are coaches and selectors. I mean, I know we don't want to get you guys in trouble, so but I don't think I'm going down the wrong road here. It's important that those guys know what you're doing. You know,
I think that is, for me. I mean, if it does sound wrong, we can just cut it out. But for me, I think that's where England's lacking a little bit. When the young guys go abroad, you know, you want to keep them into the sport. If you want your next Pitchford, your next Paul, okay, look for that guy.
Yeah, I think
don't stop paying attention to them now. They've gone abroad. Okay, they're getting a dedication from the club. They're getting money. They're doing it by themselves. But at the end of the day, we're still. I mean, I moved abroad when I was 16. I was a 16-year-old kid living abroad, and I had to make decisions by myself. And I didn't really have anyone in England to know where I was standing. I just thought, okay, now I'm pretty much a Swedish player.
Yeah, I think it's just communication, isn't it? Because, like, I think at Paul and when they were younger, our age, they wouldn't have, like, they would have been communicating them every day, making sure they're doing the right things. Whereas now we don't really feel like we're wanted by them, if you know what I mean. I think
I mean, I feel it's the same way as Ethan. I mean, me and Ethan still played abroad this year, but because we're not in that England youth squad, we're not part of that team that's always on camps. You know, we go to a tournament and we feel like, okay, we're here, but we're not here.
I mean,
even representing ourselves.
I'm sure
even after the nationals last year, when I won it, I didn't get one message from any of the England coaches saying well done, like, which I thought was just like, okay. Well, I wasn't too bothered about it, but I just thought maybe they would have, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, to save your skin. I don't want you getting it in trouble. I know you won't anyway, but I'm not in the sports. So that's ridiculous to me. That's ridiculous. I mean, as a coach and as an organisation, you want to bring people together, and like that. Even just having a word with Joe, and Joe, you saying that you wake up in the morning and you train, and that's music to my ears as a coach. Like, yes, this guy, I want to give this guy everything because he's putting it all in, you know. So just having those conversations, and I think you hit the nail on the head there, Ethan, about communication. Jason obviously has been through it a lot more. I don't know if you guys know, Jason played for England as a junior and then switched to Ireland and stuff. So it would be better for Jason to have the final words if his internet's better. That greenhouse centre, £10 million it cost to build, and they ain't got Wi-Fi. No, that's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I've been out of sport a bit, but I still obviously I know Ethan and Sam from their dads and stuff, but I kind of saw a few things. But yeah, I didn't even know, Joe, you was like living abroad, and some of these guys were telling me, and obviously I heard your name on the Pitch and Pool podcast. I was like, okay, and it's kind of like, it's just got communication and exposure, and I think.
Yeah, I mean, that Pitch and Paul podcast was the only one I watched, and when Paul did say that, it was like, Paul's coach was my coach, so for Paul to say something like that to me as a junior player coming up, it's inspiration. And I think we lack a bit of that, you know. The big guys, we want to be like them. We want to know how you're living, how you're doing it, all this. So to have like someone to mentor you to do that, whether it's the coach or the big guys, that would be probably a good part for us to make another step. Okay, if they're working like that, I need to work just as hard, just as much.
Yeah. For years, Jason's gone, he's going to come back. But for years, England was saying, like, we just need a guy in the top 100 in the world. Then we're saying we need a guy in the top 50 in the world. Yeah. Now we've got Liam in the top 12 in the world, because it's kind of like they do it, and then they've got the blueprint to share with the rest.
Yeah.
So then it needs to be shared, right?
Yeah, I mean, I see a lot now that there's Tom and stuff doing these calls with the England youth squad. But, I mean, a lot of it's physical. I mean, why aren't they talking about how Tom worked his way up? I mean, Tom's been working hard since he was 12. He's been battling for years. Everyone knows Tom is a guy who works hard all the time. So to find out what he's been doing and what he has done, where he's been, how much he's had to do to get where he is.
Mm.
That would be nice for us to know.
Yeah. I'll maybe pass that to Sam and then to Ethan. What questions would you ask Paul, Tom, Sam, Liam, if you had the opportunity?
Yeah, I think if I had the opportunity, I'd just, for me, it's less physical, at least at the moment, but more mental. Ask them, what are they thinking about when they train? When they do a specific exercise, are they thinking about making one specific thing better, or are they working on multiple things at a time? Are they working on one thing for a week and something else for a week, or are they blending all together? I think these are the questions that I would ask, because I think now I'm training so much, like most of the time, 2 sessions a day, it kind of, your head can kind of stop kind of working, and then you just play for playing, you know what I mean? So I think I'd really, and I mean, I think you could play 12 hours a day, and if you don't think about it properly, you're not really gonna get where you want to. So those are the questions that I would ask.
Yeah, I suppose quality over quantity in it as well, and sometimes you're better off having a break and coming back. I just know that from all other sports, all other documentaries. Yeah, Ethan, same sort of thing to you, and it might not even be those guys. It could be previous professionals that England have had.
Yeah.
Or, you know.
Yeah, mine would probably be what mindset they have going into a tournament, because I know, this myself, when I'm training more a certain week or a certain month, I'll go into a tournament and think, oh, I should be doing better this time, when a lot of the time that's not going to happen. So I'd want to just see what their mindsets are like before a tournament and during it as well, rather than just thinking, oh, I'm going to do better than this time. Just what they're actually thinking before going into it and in training up to a big tournament.
Cool. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, Jay.
I'm back, am I?
Yeah, all yours.
Dodgy internet. I think we're getting towards a close. I've really enjoyed listening to the boys and learned so much about them. I appreciate them giving their time. I want them just to, if they can, just give me a description of what I might see in 2 years' time if I have to pay my entry in to watch them play. What characteristics and what might I see coming from each one of them? I'll give you a little bit of time to think about it. And then, just for you to think about what are the characteristics I'm going to see, and what style of play will I come and see is probably the question.
For me, that doesn't take that long to answer, because when I go into a hall, I literally go into that mode for the day. I mean, I watched. Have you watched the Last Dance documentary?
Yeah.
Michael Jordan. His mindset when he went into the game was making up an excuse to beat someone. And I guess kind of for me, that's the same. When I'm on court, I become kind of an animal. I don't stop no matter the score. And I think that's one of my characteristics. I'll scream, I'll shout, I'll just fight for every ball, no matter what the score is. I think that's me on the table.
Joe, what animal would you turn into?
Oh, definitely a bulldog. Be on you.
For me, in 2 years, I would say physically I'll be better, because obviously I'm trying to start that now as well. And again, my level might not be a lot better than it is right now, but just again, I think a lot of the time it's about your mental side as well. So a lot of the time when I've won tournaments, I haven't been really playing my best, or I'm not the best player in the hall all the time. But it's just about what I'm mentally thinking. And I think a lot of the time I'm quite good in them situations, so I just want to improve on that as well, rather than obviously technically and I want to improve my performance a lot better as well. But if not, I think a lot of the time it would just be more on my mental side as well.
Cool. Thank you, Sam.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have so much to say that has already been said. I mean, I kind of, in 2 years, I want to have a really, really strong mental game, really, really be able to think really well tactically and think what's the exact right thing to do in this situation, and really play smart, but tie that into being a physical beast almost, with being able to run forever and get to balls that other people wouldn't be able to get to. Obviously, as a defender, I think that's really important, and I want to make people watching go, wow, how did you get to this one, and how do you get to this ball? So yeah, I'd tie tie both those together for me.
I think this is me speaking from a little bit of experience. Obviously, a coach, very passionate about the development of table tennis within the home countries. The little bit of advice I'd give you all is that live the life, which you all seem to be doing. Really, really give it your best. Train hard, practice hard, try and improve all those characteristics that you've just been speaking about. Leave no stone unturned if you can. And then you've all got really good specific goals. I always struggle to say specific. But you've all got really good, clear goals. But it's not just about playing for England. That's not enough. It's about winning for England. And that's what you should be thinking about. You should be thinking about being the best player in Europe, the best player in the Commonwealth. And you know, put that bar really, really high. I have what I call the mental ABCs, which is you have to have the ambition, you have to have the bravery, and you have to have the commitment to be a success. And that means sometimes leaving a little bit out there. And yeah, it bloody hell is it nervous to give up your normal life and go and train as a professional. Of course it is. You don't know if you don't make it. Have you wasted 2 or 3 years of your life? My answer to that would be no. Because if you live the life, you're going to get loads of opportunities that will come, and you'll learn different little nuggets about how people work and how life works. And it's the same as getting a degree. It's the same as putting years into working in a business. Those skills that you're going to develop and the stuff you're going to learn about the mentality of other humans is priceless. So actually being professional and practicing every day is a real privilege. Grab hold of it, live the life, practice hard. I hope to see all of you in some sort of under-21 tournament in a couple of years' time and see the Bulldog running around the court while the wise old fox Sam is outfoxing him, and then Ethan chucking the big backhands that he's shown Bagley a few times. So it's been a real pleasure. Thank you, gents. I wish you every bit of success.